I'm Steve Jasper and I'm the jet lag guy. Welcome to this week's episode of Jet Lag in the News. Social jet lag is a problem for many people, particularly for those of us who are night owls or for shift workers. Many people sleep in on weekends and have an earlier wake-up time during the week. This desynchronization can cause health problems. In the Czech Republic, research is being conducted on mice, particularly examining if the timing and amount of food has an effect on the circadian rhythm as well as light. Synchronizing food and light may help benefit resetting the multiple body clocks in synchronization. This research could potentially benefit the many business travelers who fly across multiple time zones, and it might inform the scheduled meal times for food being served on planes. Genomic Press Innovators and Ideas interviewed neuroscientist Dr. Randy J. Nelson. His research into circadian rhythm dysfunction includes suppression of the immune system and links between circadian disruption and metabolic disorders, which is potentially contributing to the obesity epidemic. Concerningly, his research shows circadian disruption having direct effects on mood regulation, with implications for understanding depression and anxiety disorders. This is particularly concerning for frequent business travelers, as immunosuppression, metabolic disorders, obesity, depression, and anxiety are all potentially linked to jet lag as a result of frequent international business travel. Qantas has devalued its frequent flyer points by approximately 20% as of the 1st of August 2025. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the Frequent Flyer Program, Andrew Glantz, quote, "A lot has changed in the last 6 years." I think that's an understatement, Andrew. Daniel Saberis from Point Hack says that the latest increase is relatively reasonable, and that to get the best value for money, redeem your points for premium seats on long-haul flights. For domestic flights, use routes with less competition as they tend to be more expensive. Instead of Sydney to Melbourne, which is relatively cheap per kilometre, instead use points flights for flights to regional destinations such as Hamilton Island, Uluru or Broome. Barcelona players returning from South Korea have complained about the grueling 17-hour trip returning from South Korea to Spain. Shortly after their match against Daegu Football Club, they went on a 4-hour bus ride to Seoul Airport and boarded their chartered flight to Barcelona at about 4 o'clock in the morning. They then went on their 13-hour flight to Barcelona, landing at El Prat Airport at about 10 o'clock in the morning local time. The players were absolutely exhausted and not happy, several of them voicing their complaints directly to the coach. For elite players, jet lag can take them off their best form, and that effect can last for weeks. But this is even worse. Is this the longest flight ever? Spare a thought for the passengers on the recent Cathay Pacific flight from Los Angeles to Hong Kong, who endured a 29-hour flight from hell. Normally it takes 13 hours to cross the Pacific, hellish enough, but the plane was diverted from Hong Kong due to a freakishly heavy storm. Hong Kong received 13.8 inches of rain in a few hours, resulting in a black rainstorm warning, which is thankfully quite rare. The plane was diverted to Taiwan International Airport in Taiwan. However, the passengers were not permitted to disembark because of immigration laws, but instead remained on the tarmac there for another 11 hours. For the final leg of the flight, the cabin crew had to be swapped out, and the airline has received a lot of criticism for not allowing the passengers to disembark in Taiwan. Last Wednesday, all United Airlines flights were grounded, although flights already in the air were not affected. There was a technology glitch and they kept the flights grounded for safety reasons. Thankfully, the glitch was resolved several hours later, although there were delays in United flights for the rest of the day. There was some backlash from unhappy passengers who were stranded, complaining about a lack of communication from the airline. Now for some good news. American Airlines is offering new flights to Europe as well as Buenos Aires. Philadelphia to Prague and Budapest, the only non-stop flight from the United States to Budapest. Seasonal routes Dallas-Fort Worth to Athens and Zurich. That's some quite long flights there and a lot of time zones, as well as a seasonal Miami to Milan route. American Airlines is also extending their winter seasonal flights from Dallas-Fort Worth to Buenos Aires into the US summer. So there are lots of great destinations, but remember, there's lots of jet lag, especially flying east. Early to bed is all the rage at the moment. With a report from The Guardian, the average American heads to bed at 10:36 p.m., falling asleep 42 minutes later. However, many younger people are opting for lights out at 9 p.m. In a survey by a mattress company, while many people stayed up late for chores, 21% said they stayed up because, quote, night was their favourite time of day. When I went to school, night wasn't part of day, it was night. Hear me out. The best time for you to go to bed is the best time that works for you, for your body clock. It depends on your chronotype. And if you want to find out more, follow the link to my website, do the free MEQ quiz, and that will calculate your chronotype for you. And finally, for in-flight entertainment, especially if you're on the 29-hour flight from hell, there is one genre of movie that is best avoided. According to psychologist Rod Mitchell, watching horror movies on a plane is, quote, like drinking espresso during a stress test. He continued, disaster movies, especially with planes or confined spaces, trigger your mirror neurons, making you feel the danger yourself, which is probably not the best idea at 30,000 feet. You're already vulnerable, which is probably not the best idea, and horror and drama hit differently. Instead, try childhood animations for comfort. To stay awake, action films, fast-paced comedies, or interesting documentaries are great, and if you'd like to sleep, period dramas or nature documentaries with a soothing narrator. Think David Attenborough. As for watching horror movies on a flight, that's just plain crazy. If you have any questions or want to know more about what I do, check out my website at www.jetlagguide.com.au. There's another book on the way, and you'll be the first to know when it's released. And that's this week's Jet Lag in the News. I'm Steve Jasper. Thank you for your attention.